gums at each other any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo.
It's time
for you to sit back, relax, and listen to a complete and fucking utter armchair expert give his completely and utterly useless opinions on the one hell of an amazing sport that is MMA. How's it going, guys? Oh god, I literally just did my the intro I do to when I talk to my mate on the phone. Maybe I should make that a thing for this too. Jesus, but yeah, g'day guys. So what a big couple of weeks it has been in MMA. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So UFC 312 from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. So let's just... Alright, so Jakey Matthews, the Melbourne boy, got the win in the third round. It went the distance, went to decision. Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato went to a draw, surprisingly. Unfortunately, Justin Tafa didn't win. He got TKO'd at 35 seconds of the first round. That was a shock. Got performance of the night. Zhang Wei Li defended her women's strawweight bout after going the distance, but unfortunately, Sean Strickland did not get it done. Dricus du Plessis defended his belt. I am a Sean fan, but I will admit that fight was all Dricus. Yeah, Sean had a very lackluster performance in that fight. Don't know what it was, but he just did not fight like we know he can. And yeah, I guess the result was what the result was. But that was the latest card back down under. And now let's get into UFC 313 from the home of the UFC, the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. I always say that, don't I? Nevada. Sound like I'm from Boston. Nevada. Oh, God. So let's have a look at this card. Let's see what we've got going on down here. Okay, as always, not too much going on in the prelims. Curtis Blades is fighting in the prelims, on the last fight of the prelims. He's fighting a Russian. I don't even want to try and pronounce that name. So now we get to the main card, and my dad's going to hate this one because this guy just had one hell of a performance on Rampage Jackson's podcast. Shows you how much of a schmuck this guy is. He's now going by the name King Green. God, what an insufferable prick. Thank God there's no odds for this fight, because I would not have wanted to say he was the favourite, seriously. Anyway, moving on. We've got a women's strawweight bout between Amanda Lemos and Yasmin Lucindo, I think, who's from Brazil. Hold on. I keep getting the bloody plus and minus sign confused. So Lucindo is the favourite in that fight. Number 5 ranked versus number 7 ranked in the strawweight division. We then have a lightweight bout between Jalen Turner and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that guy's name. Jesus. But the other guy is the favourite. now we get to the business end of the evening. The co-main event in the lightweight division, number 3 ranked Justin Gaethje versus number 11 ranked Rafael Fiziev. It is a rematch. Was originally meant to be Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker up until a few weeks ago, but Dan Hooker meant to pull out, and I'll be honest with you, my excitement for this card went down a lot after that, because, yes, of course, I'm keen for the Pereira fight, but I've seen so many of Pereira's fights, so it's, I guess it's I'm kind of used to it at this point. But Fiziev is the favourite in this fight, which is kind of shocking. I don't know if Justin's last fight has kind of influenced that. It may well have. Or the fact that the last one was a close fight. I don't know. But the main event of the evening for the light heavyweight division title, Alex Potan Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. I don't know how to pronounce that. But the Russian is the favourite, shockingly, because usually it's the champ that's the favourite, and especially when it's Pereira. That is a shock. All I can say is I hope Alex has worked on his takedown defense, because I know this guy, like all Russians, is a really good wrestler. So if he hasn't, we could well have another Russian champion in the UFC. Who knows? Which I kind of hope doesn't happen, because Pereira is definitely turning out to be one of the biggest stars of this era, I guess, of the UFC. But anyway, guys, that is UFC 313. And when I come back, I want to talk about the upcoming cards, because they're stacked, and also TKO Boxing. All that and more when I come back. So, UFC 314 is stacked, ladies and gentlemen. It is coming to us from Miami, Florida. The beach city, of course, from the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. We have got in the main event, we have got Alexander the Great Volkanovski coming back for the first time in over a year for the featherweight championship, but against Diego Lopes. There was a lot of talk that it was supposed to be the Volk versus Ilia rematch, but Ilia decided to vacate his belt and go up to 155. So Volk now has another shot at the 145 belt. I really, really hope he wins, and I really hope he can defend it on home soil, because the UFC is coming back to Perth next year. So, I mean, it's not as good as Sydney. It would have been good if he could have been on the Sydney card, but it is what it is. So hopefully Volk can win the belt and bring it home, basically, defend it on home soil. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. In the co-main event, we have a lightweight bout between Michael Chandler and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. That is going to be a really entertaining fight. So then, of course, we have another featherweight bout between Yair Rodriguez and Patricio Pitbull. You would think that's probably to make the number one contender for whoever wins the belt. Let's see, is there anyone? Oh, Dominic Reyes is fighting on the main card. Jim Miller is fighting on the main card. Jesus, that's interesting. Yeah, Dan Ige is fighting on the main card, I believe. this could be the prelims. I'm looking at Google, not looking at the trusty UFC website, of course. We'll save that for the next podcast. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen, because we have also got UFC 3. Oh, God. Sorry, my computer has a bloody problem with some of its keys. We have also got UFC 315 in Canada, Montreal, Canada, at the Bell Centre, where Belal Muhammad will be defending his welterweight belt against Jack Della Maddalena. Mr. TNT himself, the Perth boy, is fighting for the welterweight title. So that means we've got back-to-back cards with Aussies in title fights, which is crazy. Crazy how big this scene has, the MMA scene in Australia has become, that we've now got two Aussies fighting in the big leagues for titles back-to-back. That's crazy, really. But that's not all, of course. Valentina is also on this card fighting against Manon Fiorot, I think. Gilbert Burns is also on this card. Alexa Grasso. Jose Aldo is fighting in Brazil again. Yeah, guys. The next couple of cards, I tell you, they are definitely going to be ones to watch. But I just want to end off the podcast real quick talking about TKO Boxing. So Dana White has wanted to get into boxing for years, and he has now partnered up with the man who has, without question, taken boxing by storm the last couple of years, Turki Al-Sheikh, to form TKO Boxing. So what's this going to mean? I don't know. Turkey has come out and said that he wants to crush all promotions. So you got to think that they're going to be coming directly for the throat of the establishment of boxing, basically. And I could definitely see Dana wanting to basically set it up like the UFC is. One belt for one weight class, all that sort of stuff. You would hope that Turkey being involved means the fighters get paid more, but then what happens at the UFC? If the UFC sees all these guys getting paid more, they might complain about it. Who knows? But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting the way things are going. I see this being a long-term project. Probably over 5 years or something like that. But Turkey did say that they look to be doing a big event in September. So reading between the lines, that's also when the Canelo and Terence Crawford fight's happening. So could that happen on TKO Boxing? Who knows? Who's even going to go over there? Like, I don't see the established boxers going over there because, they've already got deals with Matchroom and whatnot. But the up-and-comers, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, all those sort of guys, they could come in. But, yeah, who knows? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy UFC 313 and all the other interesting stuff that has happened in MMA of late. You can never predict this game. Anything could happen at any time. But I hope you enjoy UFC 313 from wherever you're watching it from. And as always, till next time, catches.